Hello all. Today we are going to discuss a topic about governor, who is the chief executive head of the state, whereas the president is the first citizen of the country. As we discussed, governor is the chief executive head of the state, but like the president, he is also the nominal executive head. He acts as the agent of the central government because he comes under the state executive, whereas the part 6 of the constitution deals with the governor, not only with the governor but also with the chief minister, council of ministers and the advocate generals. For all, the article comes from 153 to 167 of the constitution. So what does this 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956 is facilitated with is that facilitated with the appointment of the same person as a governor for 2 or more states. So the governor can be the governor for one state as well as for the 2 or more states in the emergency time or else in the needed time. So whom does the governor will be get appointed is he is appointed by the president. He is qualified when he is completed the age of 35 years. His term of office is 5 years as same as the others. And he should not be the member of either the house of the parliament or else the house of the state legislature. And he should not hold any other office of profit, any other also belongs to the other houses also. So the term of office is normally 5 years as like the others, but he can be terminated in the basis of when the president can get the advice of the council of ministers headed by the prime minister of the country and the nomination goes against the governor, he will be replaced or dismissed. Until unless without for the valid reasons he can be terminated, until unless it is not a validated reason he cannot be terminated. And the last point is as well as the governor's opinion, he himself or herself resign the governor job, they can be terminated. So the term of office ends. So whenever the appointment comes, there comes a background of the thing. So first, when it comes under 1935 Government of India Act, governor were described as like by the Raj, of the Raj and for the Raj. So as per the suggested by the committees headed by the B.G. Kir, K.N. Kadju and P. Subrahmanyan, the Constitution Assembly desired elected governors, they all are. So the system of the appointed governor in the state finally resulted from the concerns and also between the conflict between the powers of governor and the chief ministers. So initially when they described the governor and the powers, their terms of office, that got a conflict between the chief minister and the governor, because chief minister is also the head of the state as well as the governor is also the state, but he reports to the center. And the drafting committee is left it out to the Constitution Assembly where it decided that governor should be elected or nominated. Finally, there comes a confusion for the drafting committee whether the chief minister is elected but the governor should be elected or to be nominated. So based on this, there comes the recommendations for lots of committees. So here the recommendations and the committees for the governor is, the major is S.R. Bommai judgment. So following this Sarkaria Commission's recommendation, the Supreme Court emphasized in the Bommai case in the 1994, this happened that the state government was basically impossible without challenging the constitutional machineries. Constitutional machinery in the sense when the state is not obeying the laws and orders of the centers. So when thus it happens is the Supreme Court is classifying this constitutional machineries as a 4 heads as the political crisis, internal subversions, physical breakdown and non-compliances with the constitutional directions of the executives, union executives. So other cases and recommendations are Nawab Rabia judgment, which is in 2016, Administrative Reforms Commission 1968, Rajamannar Committee 1971, Justice V. Chellaya Commission 2002, Punchi Commission is from 2007. So the details about this case, when the commissions are formed, what are the results of the commission, everything is explained in the document which is attached in the description of this video. You can find in that. Now let's discuss about the articles which is related to the governor. So here the article 153 states about the governor of the state, which means that each state can have their own individual governor, and it talks about in the article 153. Article 154 talks about the executive power of the state, and article 155 talks about the appointment of the governor. 156 is about the terms of the office of a governor. 157 is about the qualification for appointment as governor. 159 talks about the oath or affirmation by the governor, and 61, that means 161 of the article talks about the power of the governor to grant pardons and others about the governor. Article 163 talks about the council of a minister to aid and advise the governor, rights of the governor to address and to send message to the house of the state legislature, which comes under the article 175. And the article 213 talks about the power of the governor to promulgate the ordinance. So these are all the important 10 articles which discuss about the powers, appointments, oaths, qualification of the governor of the state. So when it comes to the powers and functions, first power is the executive power of the governor. So when it comes to the executive power, here it talks about the government of the state or formally taken in his or her name. So executive actions can be taken by the governor in the name of the state. So he or she can appoint the chief minister and the other ministers, which means that they will help the chief minister and the other ministers to take the oath. He or she appoints the advocate general of the state, and they also appoints the state election commissioner for the state. And they also appoints the chairman, the member of the state public services of the commissions. And he also acts as the chancellor of the universities of the state. So these are all the executive powers of the governor. And the legislative power of the governor, which means that one can summon or promulgate the state legislature and can also dissolve the state legislature assembly. And they can address the state legislature at the commencement of the first session, which means that each general election and the first session of the each year they can address the state legislature. And they can also appoint any member of the state legislature to preside its proceeding when the both speaker as well as the deputy speaker. And he nominates 1/6 of the members. He also have the powers of the nomination. 1/6 of the members of the state legislative council, among us the persons special knowledge, they may be the literate, science, art, cooperative movements, or else in the social services. So they can also promulgate the ordinance when the state legislature is not in the session. Governor have the power to promulgate the ordinance. So these are all the legislative powers of the governor. And the third most important power is the financial power, which means that the governor can constitute finance commission every year, which means that every 5 years he or she can constitute it. And they can make advances cut out of the contagious fund of the state. And the money bill can be introduced only by the prior recommendation of the governor. One cannot introduce the money bill without the recommendation of the governor. So these are all the financial powers of the governor. Judicial power. He or she can grant pardons or the reprise or receipts or a remission of the punishment or suspend, remand and commute the sentence of any person convinced of any offence against law. Even when the Rajiv Gandhi case comes, so one of the person they were asking for it because she have a very small kid, so the recommendation was sent based on that. So they were about to hang her. Instead of that, they were postponing the hang still now. So this is how they can make the pardons, or they can make the remissions, or they can recommend for someone. So he or she is consulted by the president while appointing the judges of the concerned state high courts. So when it comes to the appointment of the judges for the state, so by the consultant of the president, he or she means that the governor can appoint them. And they can also make appointment or a posting promotion for the district judges in consultant with the state high court. And also they can appoint the person to the judicial services, means that other than the district judges in the consultant with the state court, they can also have the state public service commission person to be get appointed by the governor. So these are all the powers and functions of the governor, as well as the commissions and the recommendations were also discussed all over the PPT. So here with the more informations, the document is attached in the description of this video. You can find it there. And also when it comes to the governor or a president or a chief minister, the most common questions asked were about their appointments, when they can be removed or when they can be appointed, the qualifications, who can appoint them, whether they are nominated or not, how the selection process will be done, and what are all the articles indicates their appointment or qualification or removal process. These are all the important things we need to note by the constitutions, and we also be very clear about which part of the constitution comes for them. And we discussed that part 6 of the constitution is for governor, and these are the articles. So based on that, this will be for the every person of the appointments. So that should be noted by the while studying. So hope this is enough for the governor, and for the extra informations you can go through the document which is attached in the description. Thank you.